Hey, good evening or good morning or good afternoon. I don't know if that, do you say good afternoon? Yeah, that's a word. Whatever time you're listening to this podcast, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. It's considered TV, right? I'm guessing. We're live on the YouTube. Live on the YouTube. Not in Belarus, though. Told. For paper, you have to flatten it before you receive. I'm guessing they don't crush everything before there's like paper. Like 3D objects get routed away. If you leave your paper like a box, if you leave it assembled, the likelihood that it's going to get the back goes down. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to listen to the people of packaging. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the People of Packaging podcast. Today, I'm going to be joined by Charlie Grace, and Charlie will be gracing the stage talking about Night Owl Martini. I'm so excited. I was telling him before this came in, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to try this. We need to record this podcast ASAP because I didn't want to crack it open. I want to talk with him about the branding and the packaging and just like, how do you even come up with this idea? So I'm super stoked to have Charlie on, and he's going to be joining me right after these words from our lovely, wonderful sponsors over at SpecRite and Trayak. You should just go buy all of the things from them and just tell them that I sent you. Just do. It's so simple. Just go pay them a ton of money, and I'll be so happy. All right, we'll be right back with Charlie Grace, co-founder of Night Owl Martini.
Are you tired of managing your specs in spreadsheets, PDFs, or relying on suppliers to do it for you? Learn how SpecRite can help you digitize and take control of your product and packaging specifications to drive sustainability reporting, SKU rationalization, and better collaborate across departments and with your suppliers. Go to SpecRite.com to learn more.
Have you ever wondered, how do I reduce my carbon footprint? Should I focus on recycled content or reducing weight first? Which design strategies are the most effective for my products? Trayak offers multiple solutions for lifecycle assessment, goals management, reporting, EPR fees, and more. Visit Trayak.com to connect with our team and register for a free 10-day trial of Eco Impact Compass to get started today.
What is up, Mr. Charlie Grace? How are you, sir?
Doing well, Adam. Thanks for having me.
I am so excited. You are a man who lives in two places, but not simultaneously, because that would go against the laws of all sorts of physical properties. But you are today currently podcasting live from, we're not really live, recording from down in Florida, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'm down in West Palm, South Florida.
Okay. I have not been to West Palm Beach, Florida, but I have been to Florida, but the company you said is based in, is it New York City or New York, the state? Because those are two different places. They're like two different worlds.
Yeah, we're based in New York City, really the home of the Night Owls. So it fits kind of our brand.
It is the home. I will tell you what, I've been on plenty of work meetings there. And so being from Colorado, having 5 kids, living in Utah, to me, somebody says, let's get dinner. That's like 5:30. That's when dinner time is, right? That's normal person dinner time. I go to the city for meetings and it's like, let's get dinner. And it'll be like, how does 9:30 sound? And I'm like, excuse me? That sounds like when I'm in my hotel watching Netflix. So what do you think that is? They're like, that's dinner time. And I'm like, you are crazy. So
city never sleeps.
It's the home of the Night Owl, that's for sure. Well, Charlie, was that kind of the origination of the brand? Was this idea of like the city that never sleeps, and you've created an espresso, which is just like hooray, and martini, which is just like, let me hang out for a second and listen to Frank Sinatra. Like, it's this cool combination. Was that kind of the genesis behind it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first and foremost, we saw an opportunity in the beverage world where espresso martinis are one of the most popular drinks, both in New York City and around the country, even around the world. So we saw an opportunity to solve a problem, which number one is the inefficiencies of making them, multiple ingredients. Everyone makes them differently, different ratios between the coffee, alcohol, et cetera. So we saw an opportunity to solve both consumers at home, the headache of making espresso martinis, as well as kind of your high volume bars, restaurants, venues, hotels, etc. So we wanted to bring, first and foremost, a cocktail quality espresso martini to the masses. And our original call it differentiator was the tequila angle. So we have 2 SKUs of vodka espresso martini and a tequila espresso martini.
Well, I should try to pull these out here of this fancy box that you guys shipped me.
Yeah.
Because I think I have one of each of these. Let me see. I've got this one has vodka, coffee, and vanilla. This one has tequila. Oh, look, and we're going to talk about packaging so hard, so much. So we've got here, if you're listening to this, we've got this espresso martini. This is in a can. Can has a shrink sleeve on it. And the tequila one has like a gold printed around it, whereas the vodka one is more like a silver that's printed around it. So you got all the consistent branding, but the slight differentiation. What was cool, and I didn't even realize this till you told me there were 2 different SKUs, is I could immediately recognize it when I saw it. Like, okay, there's something the same but different between these 2 SKUs. Which is cool. So congratulations or shout out to your graphic designer, whoever that was. This is a pretty cool idea. So what's the differentiator? I'm not an espresso martini connoisseur. Are they not made with tequila normally?
It's a growing, call it, segment of the espresso martini where more and more people are ordering them with tequila. Obviously, tequila remains extremely popular. But when most people think martini, they think vodka. So, quick story there is I was at a kind of a high-end restaurant in New York City, and I asked the bartender for an espresso martini, and he's like, "Do you want the house made or do you want, a vodka base?" And I just kind of sparked, a differentiated idea of, wow, he made it with tequila, and it tasted delicious. And so it was kind of popped in my mind of, there's a big tequila opportunity here. And so now we're opening up the consumer to the tequila espresso martini.
That's cool. And I'm going to be opening up one here quite shortly. So, you have how many founders? You said co-founder. So,
Yep. So I have a partner who is also based in the Northeast areas in Connecticut, and he comes from a co-packing kind of beverage background, more on the supply chain side. And so it was just kind of strategic for us to partner up together, and his firm, Vermont Cider Company, also known as Green Mountain Beverage, they handle all the co-packing and production for us.
that's cool. So he's doing both.
Correct. Yep. So
That's
he has a
awesome.
co-packer, and they co-pack for multiple brands. And then obviously, we partnered together on Night Owl, which is a separate venture for him. And it's great to kind of have the strategic partnership there.
Did you guys know each other prior to setting this out, or were you like, I have an idea and I found somebody to help me?
Yeah, we were friends beforehand. He had just kind of purchased this co-packer based in Vermont, and he was tipping his toes into the beverage world and learning about it. This is, call it 2020, 2021. I kind of told him about the idea, and he loved it, and obviously the tequila angle as well. And so we kind of put our brains together to say, hey, let's do this together. And it was kind of a unique partnership.
So you had a bit of a built-in advantage then when it came to maybe selecting like form factor and stuff for your packaging, because your partner, in a sense, you were able to kind of be like vertically integrated, because your partner probably had an understanding of, okay, this is why an aluminum can might be a good idea, but because we can't buy full truckloads or whatever it is, like we have to do the shrink sleeve, or like was he kind of the one that was helping with the packaging materials to help this thing come to life?
Exactly. Obviously, they have relationships with tons of different vendors. And so the key thing for us initially was what's the right size. And, we landed on a 200 ml can, 7.5 ounces. And we really like the vessel it comes in because it really is cocktail quality as well as size. And you can also, whether you drink it cold out of the can or you pour it over ice or you put it in a martini shaker and shake it up, and get fancy with a martini glass. It kind of gave us a lot of flexibility for the consumer, and the underlying retailer. So, the size of the can was important first and foremost, but other things that we did that, we nitro each can so that it pours really well with more of the foamy head you typically get with an espresso martini.
Okay. Like I said, I like martinis. This is weird. This is going to be the first time I've ever actually tried an espresso martini. Just so cards on the table. I've never actually tried one. And you're like, they're the most popular drink. And I'm like, as somebody who likes espresso and martinis, I'm surprised that I've never tried an espresso martini. By the way, quick story. One time I checked out from a Starbucks that was in an Albertsons, and I ordered a short because I like a short latte with an extra shot. So it kind of is like a cortado. And they charged me, and on my receipt, it said 1 shot of espresso is spelled EXPRESSO. And I walked up. I've never told this story. I walked up and I was like, excuse me, I would like my 75 cents back. And she was like, why? And I said, you can't charge me for something that doesn't exist. Espresso is not a real thing. And she was just staring at me. And I was like, it's spelled with an S. And I'm a little bit frustrated because it drives me crazy when people are like, yeah, I like espresso. And I'm like, it's espresso.
Well, it's funny you say that. As someone that lives and breathes espresso martinis, even sometimes I slip up and call it espresso. So
you can say it, but if you put it on your packaging, I would be like, and Charlie, we're done. We're done with this podcast. I couldn't even continue on if you decided to go that route. There was, however, a trim line on a Dodge Neon that was called the Espresso that I learned because I Googled it. And I was like, oh, that's right. There was an old Dodge Neon Espresso Sport trim line. Or went out.
Well, I'm excited for you to finally try your first espresso martini.
Well, thank you. Which one of these should I crack open here and we can keep talking? Do you recommend the tequila or the vodka?
Let's start with the baseline vodka. Just get your baseline of an espresso martini first, and then we can kind of open you up to the tequila.
Okay, I love the sound of aluminum cans opening. It's like such a like classic sound. I feel like that just it always takes me back. Like every time I open one up, and anytime you hear someone open one up, it's like, who's enjoying themselves right now? Who's about to be delighted around me? Because it's like never bad. I feel like
there's something special about that sound cracking.
There really is. Okay, is there like a special? Do I have to be like a wine connoisseur when I drink this, or do I just drink it straight out of the can?
Just drink it, enjoy it, and see how you like it.
Oh, that's good. It's super smooth. I can understand why people like that drink, especially if you like coffee. It's got a lot of like coffee on the front, but it finishes off like very, very smooth. Like you could get in trouble drinking these, probably, if I had to guess. How much alcohol content is in this thing?
It's 12.5 ABV. So, a typical beer or probably a hard seltzer is around 5% ABV. So it's basically having 2 of those. And so
if I drink this whole thing, it's like having 2 beers?
Correct.
Oh, okay. I better be real careful. By the end of this podcast, I'll just be like, and let me tell you what my Aunt Eileen told me one time back in 1972. I wasn't born then, but
no, I think you're good to have 2 of those. But once you go beyond 2, we'll rein it in.
Okay. Got it.
But no, to your point, we really wanted a coffee forward tasting profile, and it allows, a great baseline. But even, some people at home that might like a splash of Bailey's or Kahlua for a creamier base can even add it. So it gives a lot of flexibility to the consumer.
But it has a bit of it has like a creamy texture to it. Like I was telling somebody I need to go watch The Big Lebowski again, but every time I do, I just drink a lot of White Russians.
It's got a similar, yeah, exactly. I love it.
It kind of has a little bit of that like vodka, milk, like it like sits on the palate really well. It's not super harsh.
Yeah.
And I'm not, full disclosure, I'm drinking these pretty warm, like room temperature. I'm sure with some ice or, in a shaker or something like that, it probably brings out a whole different flavor profile.
No, for sure. Obviously, we want people to drink it cold, but it's good to you to kind of see that texture and the nitro helps. But really, to be very frank, it took us about 2 years to formulate the liquid, and we're very proud of it. We've been fortunate to win a lot of awards, and it's this call it cocktail culture of the RTD space. It's a growing segment where you're seeing more and more kind of ready to drink cocktails, whether it's an espresso martini or a Negroni or a margarita. There's a growing trend that is saving call it bartenders time as well as consumers at home time when there's multiple ingredients mixed in.
Yeah, and I would imagine too for the like even like a cost conscious consumer, you think about everything you have to go buy in order to make an espresso martini, and you have to, and especially like with the level of ingredients I'm sure you have in this, like this clearly isn't just like cheap thrown together stuff to just make like the lowest cost espresso martini you can. It's got a high quality flavor or a high quality feel to the flavor. So for like, me say like, hey, I'm gonna go make these, I probably have to go out and buy a bunch of different stuff. And then, like you said, be really good at mixing them all together. Cause I'm guessing I could really screw this up if I tried to make it myself.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has a different way of making them, but you're right. You need multiple ingredients, whether it's just getting fresh coffee or espresso. Not everyone has, a fresh espresso machine at home, so that's obstacle number one. And then it's the right ratios between the alcohol and coffee, as well as a hint of vanilla in our espresso martini to kind of give it that full flavor profile. And so it really does pour well and hopefully taste well. So.
And the reason I point out the fact that I'm trying these things, and I'll crack open this tequila one here in a second, is you mentioned that, oh yeah, there it is, 12.5% ABV. You mentioned that these are shelf stable. Is that because of the nitro fill plus the aluminum gives it a solid shelf stability so that it doesn't have to ship refrigerated and be stored refrigerated, which by the way has a huge sustainability component to it, that you can just fill it and ship it in a standard truck. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's also the alcohol content obviously helps with, and we're dairy free, so that allows for the shelf stability. And so yeah, I mean obviously we want consumers to make sure that it's drinking cold, but we purposely put this formulation together, which allows us to be shelf stable, dairy free, gluten free, which is obviously important to consumers these days.
Got it. Yeah. Are there people right now watching this like that are like martini experts who are just like, I can't believe this guy's just drinking this straight out of the can? Like, are there people who would be
I
like,
should have
no?
one with me. I didn't. I should have gotten one. I should have had some here with me. It's 5 o'clock.
It's not
At least
5
on the
o'clock
East
while I'm
Coast. At
recording
least on the
this.
East Coast.
It's not 5 o'clock while I'm recording this. So that's why I'm like, I still have work to do, Charlie. Okay, let's try this tequila one. I've never had a tequila martini ever. Whoa, that was fun. Oh yeah, you can even you can smell the difference between the two. Like immediately, I was like, oh yeah. That is amazingly unique. That is that. Okay, here's the deal, people. I 1000% understand why you would have had this and been like, have an idea, because that is delicious. There's like a sweetness to it that was totally unexpected on this this tequila espresso martini.
Well, hopefully it's smooth. I mean, the tequila's definitely got a little more alcohol forward taste profile, which I hope.
Yeah. No, it's incredibly smooth, but it was like delightful. Like it hit my tongue, and it was like, this is, especially kind of between the two, it was unexpected. because I'm not a big tequila drinker. I'm not a big drinker in general. But man, this is really good. Like no,
Maybe
what did the kids say? No cap. No cap, kids.
maybe
You have
it'll
to be
become
21 and up.
your happy hour drink of choice when you decide
Mhm.
that you need a little pick me up.
Man. Okay. That's 100% happening. I'm going to be at I attend a show called Pack Expo every year,
Oh,
which is like
cool.
a big, massive packaging show in Chicago. And I have a couple of happy hours I have to attend. I'm definitely, what would I say? Would I say, do I just order a Night Owl martini and then see if they have it?
That's our goal. Hopefully, in a few years' time, you'll be ordering a night owl instead of an espresso martini. But if you need a little pick me up in Chicago, just tequila espresso martini, and they'll know what they're doing.
I'm going to ask, I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to be like, I'll have a Night Owl martini. And if they say, what is that? I'll just be like, what is that? How do you not know what that is? Have you not looked up Night Owl martini? You can go to, is it nightowlmartini.com? I didn't even.
DrinkNightOwl.com.
Have you not been to drinknightowl.com and seen the latest
New brand
craving?
ambassador. Our new brand ambassador. I love it, Adam.
I got you. Just going to go around to all the packaging shows. That is so good.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was not expecting it to be as good as it was when you were like, I'm thinking like tequila and espresso and a martini. All right. Like I was thinking it was going to be like this. I don't think I've ever told this story on the podcast, by the way. But being in packaging, you end up in packaging's everywhere, obviously, right? It's everywhere. And so the very first time I ever tried kombucha was like super early on, like way before the kombucha craze. And it was in the founder of a company's living room. And he poured me like raw kombucha. He was like, this is what we're making. And I need labels for it. And I tried it. And I swear to God, I almost threw up. But like, you can't do that. You can't be like, oh no. So I didn't know what to expect, but I've certainly had moments where I'm just like, got to choke this one down. This is not one of those moments, y'all. These things are delicious. So, okay. So people can go to drinknightowl.com. You said that you were up and down the East Coast. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're in 10 states, distributed in 10 states today, largely on the East Coast, with a big presence kind of in the Northeast, but we're slowly going down south, launch in Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. So we want to go deep in these markets. So these are kind of our core, to call it 10 markets to focus on near term. And, as we expand, we'll look to move west.
I love it. And I did want to give you a shout out too on this. Would you call this an influencer box or?
Yeah, it's a custom gift box. Yeah, we like to. We've done a lot of gifting over the years to get the product in people's hands, let them see it, feel it, and taste it. And obviously, the importance of packaging, just in general, it's the first time they see your brand, and obviously, we think the box kind of is a unique experience. And you open up, and there's 4 cans there, and you get to see and hold the product, and hopefully try it like you are today.
It's so good, and I also want to tell you how much I appreciate that you wanted to protect the box. Because this came in like this black, obviously on the outside of this box. It's printed. It looks like 2 colors on the outside. This thing, if you just ship this to me, obviously is going to protect the products on the inside. Like the products are going to arrive, but this box is going to get absolutely annihilated. And so I love the fact that you like protected the packaging and protected the brand experience. I thought that was really cool. And also, you have everything in this box is able to be recycled. And so, or even composted in terms of the paper on the inside of it. So you've got the can, you've got the box, so there was even a little bit, we didn't really get into like the sustainability messaging of it, but I know what to do with all of this. And so I thought that was really cool. And when you're giving gifts to people, can people buy this like a gift online, or?
We've done we've done some cool kind of, call it brand gifting at certain retailers. We did, a lot of holiday gifting where it was these custom boxes, but right now it's sold in 4-packs.
Got it.
So vodka SKU and a tequila SKU sold at 4-packs at retail. But we're going to do some more gifting experiences this winter for consumers and certain retailers that want, more of that, call it custom gift experience.
Do you know what would be an awesome one? And this would be really cool because I think about this stuff a lot. So like corporate gifting. So if I work, I do a lot of like training with salespeople, and we think about like direct sales kind of like outreach things. You guys have a perfect brand to be like, all right, if I want to send a 4-pack of the vodka Night Owl to somebody with a note that said like, is your packaging keeping you up at night? Enjoy. Something like that would be awesome
I love that
to do,
idea.
like corporate gifting kind of stuff. And it wouldn't just have to be for packaging people, right? Like that idea of like, is this, your insurance keeping you up at night, whatever it is, like you guys could really kill it with the brand from like a corporate gifting standpoint. So
No, it makes a ton of sense.
that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I like that idea, Adam.
Well, thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it. This is what happens when I'm like 3 sips of espresso martini deep.
I love it.
Imagine what happens when I finish.
Creativity's coming out.
It's all coming forward. Well, Charlie, I really appreciate you coming on here and kind of walking me through not only the packaging but also the product. And you guys are 18 months in. I'm sure there's going to be iterations and new things and potentially new SKUs and expansions and all sorts of cool stuff. So it's fun to be able to be like, back in the day, I had those guys on my podcast, and my grandkids will be like, no way. You knew the Night Owl Martini people? I'm like, I did. Let me go find it on this thing called the internet, which was this old.
Well, our brand is, I appreciate the time and let me come on the People Packaging podcast. But I think, our goal as we look at the Night Owl brand is to really focus on the coffee and alcohol space. Coffee and espresso in your world is prevalent to everyday life. And I think this is kind of a unique spin on one of America's favorite cocktails, and it continues to grow in this RTD world. So we're excited about it. We're still in our infancy stages, but hopefully one day you'll go to the bar and say, I want a Night Owl, and they'll know what it is. So
I love it. Well, we'll start with Chicago, and we'll see if we can get some people.
Well, hopefully you make your way to New York, and so we can meet up for a Night Owl in person.
Let's do it. Let's do that. I am in New York a decent amount. I was just out there for Climate Week, actually, with the United Nations. Cool. I found out when the United Nations in New York City, it's hard to get around New York City. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, Midtown that week is tough. So
it was tough, but I did get to record an in-person podcast with our mutual friend Taylor Foxman. So that was
awesome.
That was super cool. But anyway, Charlie, I really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, everyone go to drinknightowl.com. I'll have the link down in the show notes. You can click on it. I'm assuming people can order from there if their state allows, shipping of alcohol. But even if they can't, just go and kind of familiarize yourself with the brand. I think what you're doing is really cool, and meeting kind of filling a cool space in this RTD world. So it's exciting to see.
No, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And happy to always send you more Night Owl. I
appreciate it. If you're listening from the state of Utah, this was shipped to a different. Nobody's listening from the state of Utah. Governor Cox, if you're listening. Charlie, when we wrap up, I forgot to tell you, don't hang up because it'll upload your recording. But I do appreciate you coming on, and don't leave the studio when I hit end, but we can still say goodbye, and then we can chat afterwards.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie.